Hello and welcome to Learning from Lauren. I am Lauren, your host, and today we are going to be talking about social media as a travel advisor. This is like one of those topics that you could go on and on and on about, and you could give 500 different recommendations, and everything is not going to work for the same person. So, as a travel advisor, your biggest asset is getting your name out there and getting people to see who you are. Social media is one of the easiest ways to get out there, be known, be seen by other people. And this is so important when you're trying to figure out what it is that you want to focus on. So, I've talked about it before that you want to figure out what it is that you want to focus on as a travel advisor. But then, when you're on social media, you want to focus on that for your social media. And social media can be super powerful if you use it in a specific way, and it can be helpful for your business. What is complicated is there are many social media platforms, and you're not always sure what social media platforms you will want to use, but it's important that you are going on some sort of social media and doing it consistently. So, whatever social media you decide to start with, it could be Facebook, it could be Instagram, it could be TikTok, it could be YouTube, it could be Snapchat, whatever it is that you do, you just need to be consistent. And that's not like an exhaustive social media, that's just some of the main ones. So you have to decide which one you want to start with, or maybe you want to start with a bunch of them and just see how it goes and see which one it is that you like. That's kind of how I started is I just did it everywhere, and now I'm kind of focusing it down to what it is I actually want to do and do that. So clearly YouTube is one of them. I enjoy Facebook and Instagram because they link so that I can reach a wider audience because I don't have the same people following me on Facebook than I do on Instagram. So they can get some of the same, I can post once, but both sides see it, both Facebook and Instagram see it. So that is something that I do like. Also, um, I find that you can get really hung up and stuck on posting for social media, and that's not always what you want to be doing. So make sure that when you're thinking about posting for social media that it's not taking up your whole life, that you're doing it and you're making it helpful for you. So there are a lot of classes out there. There are a lot of people that are going to say, you have to do X, Y, and Z. This is what you have to do. Oh, do this, do this, do this. You have to do what you're comfortable with, and you have to do what's manageable for you. Posting every day for people is really hard. I used to do it, and now I can't do it anymore. I'm first of all, I'm too busy with clients that I don't have time to do that. But maybe in the beginning you will have time for that, and maybe that's like figuring out what kind of posts do you want to do. And I should say, when I started as a travel advisor, I didn't know anything about social media. I didn't know that there were hashtags. I had no idea why people put hashtags in their posts. And that's just because people follow certain hashtags, and then that's how they, get people to see their stuff. But I had no idea about that. Like, I was on hidden accounts on Facebook and Instagram. No one saw my stuff. I have no friends. So it was such a big start and such a big learning curve for me. So I actually paid for a few classes, and they weren't too expensive, like $7 and $30. I think were the two major ones that I paid for because I just had to learn, and I just needed that. I needed that help because I just didn't even know where to start. Like, I would just randomly post pictures. And now I understand what they've taught me, but I do it in my own way. I don't really care if people say like, "Oh, you have to do this," or "Oh, you have to do this, and this is how get the most stuff." I will tell you the reels that have done the most views, the most follows, the most comments I have ever gotten have always been on things that I spend I no time on whatsoever. Like I'm like, okay, yeah, let me just throw this together and post it and like let's put it out there. And like I was shocked. And the things that I think are going to do so well, they never do well. So remember with social media that it is what it is and the algorithm's going to change and people are going to see your stuff, people are going to like it. I will say that I post a lot of Disney stuff and sometimes that's not so great because Disney is such a high traffic area and there's so many people and there's so many travel advisors out there that do that sometimes my stuff gets buried. So I actually try and mix it up a little bit with doing different types of things. And that seems to help. And I don't worry about making anything perfect. And I don't worry about, especially with reels, like I just do the best I can, with reels. And the reels are what gets right now for me. The reels are what gets me the most views, gets me the most follows. That's how I gain more people onto my account. And that's the people that book with me too. Not all at once though. So social media is like the slow game. You want to show people that you know things, that you have information, that you know what you're talking about. And as they see that over time, they're like, oh yeah, we should use, Lauren to book our next trip. Or, oh my gosh, yeah, Lauren goes to like every national park. We have to reach out to her. She said that we have to like book this like almost a year in advance. And if we want to do this next year, we got to book it. But, I don't know all the tips and tricks. Like she said something about how we had to, get up at 6 a.m. and start getting in line in our cars. I don't know, like, how are we going to do that? So you're like the logistic person. You want to make sure that people understand that you know the logistics of this travel area. So you want to try and show people things without telling them absolutely everything, but you want to tell them a lot of things because they want to see that you're an expert. There are things like maybe you just say like, oh, I have some of my favorite places that I always love to go eat when I'm in Hawaii. They're gorgeous destinations and these are awesome if you go to Hawaii. Now, I didn't say the destinations of these restaurants that are amazing in Hawaii, but I talked about them. Or maybe I'll share a picture of them, but not say the name and just say, like, this is, my favorite spot. Like, look at this view. Can you imagine eating here when you're in Hawaii? And then people are going to ask, like, where is that place? What is that? Where is that? And you could put it in the comments, but a lot of people aren't going to see that part. So you want to get that engagement, people asking you about it, and you don't want to give everything up front. So those are ways that you can use social media to really help you. And you just want to be able to say, like, you can have it on your business card, like, oh, yeah, you can follow me, so you can get to know me, things like that. Like, you're selling yourself on social media and your knowledge. So that's what you want to highlight when you're doing these trips and when you're posting. That's what I meant. When you're going on trips, you want to highlight that you know what you're doing and you want to post all the time about stuff. All right, so that will do it today on social media. I hope this helps you to get started. And yes, this is the last week of being live in July. So I hope you've enjoyed this series, and I will